on one second. Shannon,
this ain't a lifetime, but this wasn't an Olympic lifetime achievement.
Shannon Sharp, hold on one second. What we're saying is you guys were right. That's what we're saying. You
no,
were right.
Molly, you did not say that, Molly. No, no,
that is what you said.
You
That's
did not.
what you
That's
said.
not what you said, Molly.
What are you guys
that is not what you said.
I literally just brought it up.
You were talking about. You were talking about us make. You were talking about folks making the point that, at the time that they had picked the Olympic team, Caitlin Clark didn't necessarily deserve it based on her play on the court. When the point that Shannon and I was making at the time was that, wait a minute, in the end, there are people that have ended up on Team USA for reasons other than just their elite play at that particular moment in time.
She
was a marketing whiz.
Right.
And she was a
right, because she is a marketing whiz and she did it on the court.
That's right, Stephen A. Smith went nuclear on Molly. And let me tell you, Shannon Sharp came in with the fast break assist, throwing shade like Shaq on a free throw review. And Molly and everyone who misjudged Caitlin Clark have had to eat their words.
College guys come out, they're waiting for him. I mean, Camilla's coming, Caitlin's coming. There's more than just that are coming. What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
Okay.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Of course.
And you see it on the NBA side, and you're going to see it on this side, where, you look superhuman playing against 18-year-olds, but you're going to come with some grown women that have been playing professional basketball for a long time.
That's right, Stephen A. Smith went nuclear on Molly. And let me tell you, Shannon Sharp came in with the fast break assist, throwing shade like Shaq on a free throw review, and Molly and everyone who misjudged Caitlin Clark have had to eat their words. Clark, he had foolin' Mamba mentality. He said that leaving Clark off the Olympic team would be like sitting Michael Jordan out of Game 7 because he's too young. Clark is trying to redirect.
At that point, look at how she played up until that point. Tracy Gray had only played one game before she went to the Olympics. She was outplaying Diana Taurasi. Was she outplaying Diana Taurasi at that point in time that she was on the team? It's a simple yes or a simple no.
Was Caitlin outplaying Diana Taurasi? But you can't just factor in current play, Shannon. That's all I'm saying. You got to factor in. But if you're factoring in Diana Taurasi's Olympic experience, Diana Taurasi's how she was with the team, I get it.
Shannon, hold on one second. Shannon,
this ain't a lifetime, but this wasn't an Olympic lifetime achievement.
Shannon Sharp, hold on one second. What we're saying is you guys were right. That's what we're saying. You
no,
were right.
Molly, you did not say that, Molly.
And when Molly tried to explain her take, Stephen A. clapped back. Shannon Sharp was in full highlight reel mode. What was the standard for selecting those players in Paris ahead of Caitlin Clark?
Shannon,
this ain't a lifetime, but this wasn't an Olympic lifetime achievement.
Shannon Sharp, hold on one second. What we're saying is you guys were right. That's what we're saying. You
no,
were right.
Molly, you did not say that, Molly. No,
that is what you said.
You did not. That's not what you said, Molly.
What are you guys
that is not what you said.
I literally just brought it up.
You were talking about. You were talking about You were talking about folks making the point that, at the time that they had picked the Olympic team, Caitlin Clark didn't necessarily deserve it based on her play on the court. When the point that Shannon and I was making at the time was that, wait a minute, in the end, there are people that have ended up on Team USA for reasons other than just their elite play at that particular moment in time.
She was a marketing whiz. Right. And she was everyone right, because she is a marketing whiz and she did it on the.
Tell Giannis to slow down because the pros need their turn. You give him the ball and let him control. Molly's take was so off, it was like watching someone airball a layup. She conceded, claiming they were right all along, but Stephen A. and Shannon were not having Olympic lifetime achievement. Shannon Sharp hold. Clip 5. Stephen A. hit her with a reply so clean it felt like a LeBron chase down block. That's like saying Steph Curry's three-pointers hurt the Warriors because he scores too much heat.
Listening, I'm talking about your point, Molly. Your point.
And I'm explaining it to you.
At the end of the day, we were making the point, do you want to promote the league or not? And people like Andrea and others were resistant to that playing a role in somebody making the roster for Team USA. And we were saying, hell with that. You want to promote the sport. You put that girl up in there. And people were appalled at that notion.
But
That was
Stephen
the
A,
subject.
Stephen hit her with a reply so clean it felt like a LeBron chase down block that's like saying Steph Curry's three-pointers hurt the Warriors because he scores too much, heat shouted, and then came the ultimate karma moment. Caitlin Clark went on to rule the WNBA, leaving Molly's take looking sillier than Nick Young turning around on a missed three-pointer. Fans dragged Molly harder than a defense getting crossed up by Kyrie. Social media turned her bad take into a joke faster than you can say in. One fan left a YouTube comment saying funny how it's females bashing her, but the men are talking about her, and how good she is. Kind of crazy. Women don't want women to win. Let's talk about karma, shall we? Every expert player and hater who underestimated Caitlin Clark has been dunked on harder than Patrick Ing in the nines. Her haters said she wouldn't last in the league, then she broke scoring records faster than Will Chamberlain at a practice game. Even Molly had to backpedal, trying to clarify her take like a coach fumbling through an excuse after blowing a 3-1 lead. Shannon and St even. Can't take it back, Molly. This ain't a DVR. You don't get to rewind bad takes. And Caitlin, she's letting her game do the talking, and it's loud every game. She's out there telling people why you never count out a baller with killer instinct. She's like Larry Bird. She'll tell you what she's about to do, and then she'll do it. You doubted her, now you're eating crow. And watching her clips on repeat. In the end, Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's a force. St. Even A and Shannon Sharp knew it from day one. Molly, she had to learn the hard way, and the rest of the doubters, they're lined up at the spread of humble pie getting served by Caitlin herself.
26 feet. When she's going to her left and in rhythm, she's going to clean it. 100% of those donations goes to research.
So, what's the lesson here? Never, and I mean never, discount greatness, because in the words of Stephen A. Smith, 39, she's box office baby. From the moment Caitlin Clark entered the spotlight, Stephen A. Smith has been her most vocal advocate, providing a masterclass in consistency, whether it was during her college success or her transition to the WNBA. Steph Smith saw something in Caitlin Clark that others struggled to acknowledge: true, undeniable greatness. Stephen A. was among the first mainstream analysts to notice that Caitlin Clark wasn't just a promising rookie, she was a transformational player.
Point was a marketing point, and that was what I was arguing with. That was what I was arguing with.
Right.
Marketing point for Caitlin. What Molly is trying to say, and what I agree with, is now that we have seen how Caitlin finished this season, there is a good basketball argument for her being on the team, for her making the team. There is now a great basketball argument.
What?
But listen, no, Shannon, listen. How she's playing right now, you just said it 5 minutes ago, was a testament to the rest that she had and the break that she had. We don't know how she would have played without that break. So we're saying Caitlin has now proven herself basketball-wise, but you all weren't making a basketball argument. You weren't making a basketball argument.
We're not saying we were making a basketball argument.
No, Andrea, I'm not going to let you do that.
Go ahead,
Andrea, I'm not going to let you make it seem like Caitlin Clark was averaging 5 points a game. At the time, she was still averaging 16 points a game, which was more than a lot of other guards that made the team. So don't do that. Don't make it seem like she was averaging 5 points and this was like a handout.
No, it wasn't a handout.
Look at her numbers.
Shannon,
comparable to the other guards that were on the...
Early in her college experience, many analysts tempered their expectations, saying that the transition to the professional level might expose her weaknesses. Stephen Smith, however, wasn't buying it. He constantly stated that her talent, work ethic, and basketball IQ were far too advanced for her not to succeed. As the season progressed, Clark's critics emerged. Some said her scoring was flashy, but unsustainable. Others claimed she lacked the experience to truly lead her team, yet Stephen A. refused to waver. He called out what he saw as fear and bias in these criticisms, doubling down on his confidence in her greatness. They said the same thing about LeBron James when he entered the league. Too much hype, they said. And now look, he's an all-time great. Caitlin Clark is cut from the same cloth. You don't dim the light on greatness, you let it shine. When Clark hit a rough patch, because let's face it, every rookie does. Stephen A. defended her fiercely. He claimed that her challenges were part of the natural process of adapting to a new level of competition. Does Steph Curry make every three-pointer he shoots? No. Does that mean he's not great? Absolutely not. Caitlin Clark is a rookie, and she's already outplaying pros who've been in the league for years. The critics need to stop nitpicking and start respecting as Clark's rookie season continued. Her performances began to validate every one of Stephen Adot's.
Right on the money. You never get tired of seeing it.
Predictions, she didn't just hold her own. She became a force of nature, regularly putting up jaw-dropping stats and making highlight reel plays. Stephen A. took every chance to remind everyone that he had been right all along after one particularly dominant game, where Clark hit 40 points and added 12 assists. Streeta gave one of his most iconic rants, GT, what did I tell why all, what did I tell why all, this isn't a beginner, this is a phenomenon, you don't call the effort lucky, you call it legendary. Keep doubting her, and she'll keep embarrassing you. His consistency wasn't just about praising her talent, it was about holding others responsible for their failure to see.
Have a lot of respect for her. I called her when Caitlin was still playing at Iowa and she had just broken Maravich's record. And it was all over the place, as you and I have discussed, that there was this quote by Cheryl that said, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, however old, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were illegitimate. And I got off the treadmill and I called her as a friend. And I said, you can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody. But you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. And if you just get ahead of this and just say, hey, I made a mistake on my numbers, then this thing is over and everybody respects you for your opinion.
He repeatedly highlighted how analysts and even former players underestimated her effects, forcing them to admit they were wrong.
Go ahead and look. Everywhere you turn, Indiana Fever is breaking records. All Cheryl Swoops did was validate all the speculation that there's folks hating on Caitlin Clark. That's all she did. Because to know basketball like Cheryl Swoops does, to be as accomplished as she is, to be the Hall of Famer that she is, all accolades that are well-deserved. And I'm certainly not attacking Cheryl Swoops the person, because I think she's a wonderful person. She's certainly always been nothing but class and nice to me. I'm only addressing a point. How do you talk about the Indiana Fever and mention a multitude of players and not one of them is Caitlin Clark, who, by the way, as a rookie is leading the league in assists? How do you do that? How do you do that?
Stephen Addu's support for Caitlin Clark has always been about more than just her stats. He's constantly emphasized her ability to elevate at the WNBA as a whole, from her flair on the court to her charm off it. He's argued that Clark is a once-in-a-generation player who can bring the league to new heights. This isn't just about Caitlin Clark getting points. This is about her bringing people to the game. This is about her inspiring young girls who want to pick up a basketball. She's not just playing. She's building something bigger.
Call it white being right. Call it whatever you want. See, I'm a person that doesn't, I recognize that reality, but I don't resent it. I figure out ways to do it to my advantage. I ain't apologize for that, Wes. I ain't apologize for that grip. I ain't apologize for that, Galen. I ain't apologize for nothing. There are people in our industry who happen to be white that got paid. I ain't mad at them. I'm grateful to them. Thank you for setting the stage. Hell yeah. Ain't hate. Rising tide lifts all boats.
Predictions, she didn't just hold her own. She became a force of nature, regularly putting up jaw-dropping stats and making highlight reel plays. Stephen A. took every chance to remind everyone that he had been right all along after one particularly dominant game, where Clark hit 40 points and added 12 assists. Streeta gave one of his most iconic rants, GT, what did I tell why all, what did I tell why all, this isn't a beginner, this is a phenomenon, you don't call the effort lucky, you call it legendary. Keep doubting her, and she'll keep embarrassing you. His consistency wasn't just about praising her talent, it was about holding others responsible for their failure to see.
You want to use the word resentment, we want to play with words, that's cool. It's something, and I think that some of the ladies, not all, but some of the ladies in the WNBA are missing the point. This girl right here is a box office attraction. And because of her box office attraction, it's generating more eyeballs to the WNBA product, therefore more revenue for the WNBA product. Don't you think y'all are going to benefit from that too? Look at the big picture. A rising tide raises all boats. If Caitlin Clark is the quote-unquote savior, if she's the golden girl, milk it. We're seeing women get shine. We're seeing their shine elevate. It's deserving. It's long overdue. And because it's long